Hi everyone, welcome to the first in a series of videos where I'm going to show you step by step how I create digital planner, journal, and notebook modules in Affinity Publisher for iPad. In the first few videos in the series, which are intended for beginners to the app, I'm going to do a complete walkthrough of the user interface. In this video, we'll take a look at the layout of the live doc screen, the very first screen when you open the app. I'll show you how you can keep your files organized, as well as the various options for creating or importing a document. Now, I do want to note, this series is specific to the iPad version of the app, but for those of you on the desktop, there's more coming for you, so stay tuned. Let's get started. When you open Publisher for iPad, you'll be brought to the live doc screen, which houses open documents and projects on the right and gives you options for creating or opening documents on the left. Let's start with the open docs. The first time you use Publisher, this is going to be empty. However, once you begin creating documents, anything started but not closed out will remain here until you decide to close it. You can see that for the most part, I have mine set up in projects, which are basically folders that are going to allow you to organize your space. Any open documents which are not part of a project will sit outside of them like these two. I can either add these to an existing project or create a new one. To add them to an existing project, I'll hold my finger down on a thumbnail until everything starts to wiggle, and then I'll drag the document over the project I want to add it to. When I release and I open this up, you can see that it's been added to the folder at the very end. If I want to remove it from the project, I can swipe left on the thumbnail and choose this last icon, and you'll see it's back out in the main screen. I can create a new project two ways. First, I can hold my finger down on the thumbnail until everything starts to wiggle, and I'll move this one over the other one that I want to create a project with. Once I drop it, it's going to form that project, which I can rename either by swiping left and choosing the edit icon, or choosing rename from the burger menu. The second option is to create an empty project by going to New and choosing New Project. I can either rename it here, or I can simply form the project and rename it either by swiping left and choosing the edit icon, or choosing rename from the burger menu. To add my documents to the project, I'll hold my finger down on the thumbnail until everything starts to wiggle, and I'll drag them one at a time until they're added to the project. A few more things to note about projects. While you can add a single document to a project, you can't add a project within a project. It just reorders them. In addition to reordering the projects, you can also reorder single documents, again by holding your finger down, waiting for everything to wiggle, and then simply swapping them. Whichever document is the first one in the project becomes the cover. If you want to change it, just hold your finger down and you can move it. So let's say that I want this one to be my cover. I'm just going to move it up to the front. And now when I go backwards, you can see it's the cover of my project. And then finally, you can't delete a project until there are no documents sitting inside of it. So you either need to close a project out or you need to swipe left and remove it. Once you do, you can see that at the top left, there's an X, which allows me to then close this out. You'll notice that those that still have something inside of them do not have that X, so I can't close them out. When it comes to single documents, there are a few things that I do want to note about this side of the live doc screen. First, I don't recommend leaving a lot of texture-heavy documents open in Publisher for iPad. The more large files you have open here in the sandbox, the more it's going to tax both the app and your iPad, especially if you're on an older model or one that doesn't have a lot of memory to handle it. I recommend naming and saving your docs and closing them out as soon as you're done with them. You can always pull them back in if you need them. To that end, let's wrap up this side by looking at how to do that. So I have this sample document and I can either rename it or save it either by going to the burger menu at the top and choosing Save, Save As, or Rename, or I can swipe left and I get these options. Keep in mind there's no way to save your document from inside the canvas. Everything is done out here. You can name your document when you save it and rename it by choosing the first edit icon there. Or if you choose the icons in the end, you'll be able to rename it as well as save it. I highly recommend saving your documents before you close them out or before you close Publisher if you're in the middle of working on something really important. Publisher has autosave, but it is at intervals, and you can count on it catching every single change if you close things out before the next autosave. So just to be on the safe side, save it before you leave the app. Let's head over to the left side and take a look at the tools to create and open documents. At the very top, if you click on the Publisher icon, you have a few options. The first is going to close all open documents at once in the live doc screen. Now, I don't recommend doing this unless you know that you've saved everything because remember, once you close it, that's it. The second option will take you to the Apple Store to check for updates on the app. And the third option is going to allow you to import content without having to go into a canvas and the individual studios. So this is going to include things like assets, styles, and color swatches. You can use this option to import everything all at once. And of course, the last option is going to give you information about the app. Skipping down to New, you have a few options here as well. New Document will open a dialog box that allows you to either choose from a list of presets on the left or key and dimensions on the right. I've created an entire video in this series dedicated to this dialog box showing you how to set up a new document, so stay tuned. New from Clipboard creates a canvas and the exact dimensions needed for an item that you've selected and copied from another one, and New from Template is going to allow you to open a fresh copy of a template you've created and saved in Publisher, Designer, or Photo. This is a great option if you use something over and over and you need a clean copy to work on without worrying about overwriting the original. Throughout this series, I'm going to show you the various ways that I use templates to make my planner creation process more efficient. Open Document allows you to either open or import a document. Open allows you to open previously saved documents, and any changes that you make are going to override the original document once you save it. Import's going to pull in a copy of the original, whether it's a PDF, a document for Adobe, or another file type. And then any changes you make are only to that copy, which you'll need to save as a publisher file. This template option does the same thing as the template option in New. It's going to open up a copy of a template that you've saved so that you don't override the original. The rest of this toolbar provides samples of commissioned publisher documents, access to various help options that Affinity provides, as well as account and app settings. We've covered a lot of information in this video. If you have any questions about anything I showed you, please don't hesitate to let me know below. Again, this is the first in a series of Publisher for iPad tutorials talking all about creating digital planners. If you have a particular topic you'd like to see as part of this series, let me know below. If it's not already in the list, I'll look to adding it. I have lots of content coming up on my YouTube channel in all of the Affinity apps, so stay tuned. But in the meantime, you might want to check out one of these two next. Thanks for watching.